What's going on YouTube? JT is Reborn here, and welcome to another edition of my comic book reviews. This is a Monsterverse comic. That's right, we're going to be talking about Return to Skull Island, issue number 1. This acts as the official continuation of the Skull Island animated Monsterverse series. As you can see, they got the Monsterverse logo right there. Now, Skull Island came out like how many years ago at this point? So I did do a live stream on my channel discussing the whole first season, which was like 8 episodes, 7 or 8 episodes, I think. And it ended on a cliffhanger. And for a long time, we've been speculating, are we ever going to get a season 2? I remember the writers saying that they wrote a second season already. And it was just kind of waiting on Netflix. Well, you know, it's been a few years. We've never gotten a confirmation, hey, we're going to do a season 2. So it looks less likely that's going to happen. And it seems that they're just kind of quietly continuing and I guess concluding the storyline in comic book formats. But who knows? They haven't officially said we're not going to do a season 2, but it's been so long, and compared to some of the other Monsterverse titles, Skull Island kind of is like the forgotten one. Because, you know, Monarch Legacy of Monsters, season 2 is already filmed to that. And, of course, we have, like, the upcoming, like, Godzilla Kong Supernova. And we have other comic book tie-ins in that as well. But this one feels kind of like the forgotten child. So, yeah. And by the way, there are other Monsterverse comics, which I do intend to cover at some point on the channel. Like, maybe, like, I'll do, like, a big video of each individual one. Because I covered, like, the Justice League vs. Godzilla vs. Kong stuff, but I never really covered some of the individual stuff. But this one came out digitally today, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and cover this whole thing. I completely forgot it was coming up, but I'm like, you know what? Okay, new Monsterverse stuff, more Kong-related things. But, yeah, so with this issue, it does kind of recap a little bit what happened at the end of the show. Now, like I said, Skull Island is the series that I kind of watched the least. It's about, it takes about, 3 hours to watch the first season. And, you know, I enjoyed it just fine. The best episode, I think, was, episode 7, and that's, the one where it's pretty much just Kong and his human friends, and it's told a lot of it without any dialogue. There's more emotion behind it, but it was a show that was, geared towards younger viewers. You had the character of Dog, you had this hawk thing that Kong had as a pet, and there's some good character moments for Kong in the series, but it wasn't the best thing the Monsterverse had to offer. Like I said, it's, it's pretty standard stuff, but I still enjoyed it for what it was. So, as we see here, we see the character of Charlie, who at the end of the season was captured by these mysterious people. They aren't quite iwi. They look to be kind of something else on the island. I mean, they may be iwi connected, but they may, I guess we'll learn more about their, who they are and, what their goal is here. And, perhaps they're just other settlers that came here and whatnot, and how they're connected to the whole thing. So that's still a mystery that the comic book doesn't quite answer. So this one is written by Simon Furman with art by Christopher Jones, and I do appreciate that since this is a continuation of the show, the characters match their animation design. So that is a big plus in my book. So we do get a bit of a recap because, Kong fought the Kraken, and the Kraken really took a personal toll on Kong. That was, like I said, the best stuff in the whole series, because of Kong's kind of negligence in some regards. He had to kind of learn a tough, valuable lesson, and you felt that. That was, to me, where the emotional anchor of that first season came from, was him losing his human friend because, he kind of was showing off and doing some other stuff. But Kong did kill the Kraken, which was just mocking, because they had to bring Kong out there because they needed to get help, because Charlie's friend and all that. And then, of course, it ended in chaos. So Charlie was kidnapped here by this woman named Kaya and some of the other people on Skull Island here who have taken basically shipwreck stuff and kind of formed their own little village fortress here. And while the Kraken is gone, but Kong is kind of injured and hurt, which means that other types of Titans are going to submerge, come up from the hollow earth. They kind of try to sacrifice him at one point before he's saved by his dad. We also saw that Annie and that had been taken away, which if you watch the show, at the end of that first season, she ended up in the hospital for a broken leg, and her dog friend just tried to kind of swim after her because there is a strong connection between her and Dog. I think his name was Dog, if I recall. But yeah, so like I said, intercut with reminders of what happened, which I was thankful for because it had been a minute since I had watched the series. I'm like, okay, what happened here? What was this character's name again? And so on and so forth. So yeah, Charlie's reunited with his dad, then they get captured again. And then they kind of get led to someplace underground. We also see Kong's pet bird, Hawk. I also like, too, that there is a little bit of a callback to Kong's Skull Island, where Kong sees a helicopter, and the first thing he does is like, I'm going to throw a tree at this thing again, because Kong does not like helicopters, as we were evidenced by that. But again, this is before GVK and everyone kind of fully settled on the island, and Kong really kind of formed that connection with Monarch and all that other stuff, which, you know, like I said, maybe this is kind of the foundation of that. We're going to see how they kind of came to be, or maybe Monarch Legacy of Monsters Season 2 will explore that a little bit more. But we see his pet bird right there, which we do see kind of might not be coming back after this thing, which is disappointing. I liked his pet bird. So they kind of swam underwater in this area. They were kind of hesitant. He was like, oh, wasn't I almost eaten by a giant crocodilian type monster there? And eventually they do kind of find like Kong being helped by the different humans right here who are upset at them. Like, Kong is hurt really badly right now. And if he dies, we all are dead. Like, Kong is like their god, their protector, and they look up to him. And I do like here that we see Kong being helped by the humans. I think that is a nice touch. And it feels like something we did see in the New Empire when Kong had his toothache and Trapper comes in there and replaces it and all that too. So it does set the stage for like why Kong is like so willing to work with humans. So, and I like those characteristics too. You can see his facial expressions and all that as well. And then of course, we do learn that there's something sinister on the island, which we kind of knew. There's this whole black tar thing, and some hand kind of grabs Hawk, and unfortunately, it seems like our good Hawk friend is not going to be making an appearance after this. So whatever it was that killed him, we don't exactly know, but R.I.P. Big Hawk bird. And then, of course, we get the ending right there, which ties right back into the ending of the season 1, and it's Annie right there. So I do think she's going to be Ann Darrow. That'll be the big reveal of her name by the end of it. Like, that's kind of where I'm predicting this storyline to go. But yeah, so like I said, I am appreciative that we do got this thing, because I hate when things are left on a lingering cliffhanger, and I want some closure. And if this is the way I'm going to get closure on that story, then it's better than nothing, is the way I look at it. I still would have liked a season 2, and again, they haven't officially announced anything, but we're a couple years out. I just don't see them probably making it unless they're just like, all right, Netflix, we'll throw something else out here. But Netflix wastes a ton of money on a ton of other projects. So I can't see why they wouldn't just like greenlit a couple more episodes to wrap it up. I mean, Pacific Rim the Black had 2 seasons, which I think is what they should have done with Skull Island. Just release, like, write and do all that stuff with the first 2 seasons, because apparently they were all written the first 2 seasons. Like, why not just do the episode split like you did Pacific Rim the Black and tell your complete story instead of a cliffhanger? But hey, we're at least finally getting a continuation like a couple years later with this comic book here. So artwork is solid. Like I said, it replicates the show's animation style, which I'm very appreciative of. Sometimes with tie-in stuff, like if it's like an animated show continuation, the art changes, and I like when it stays consistent with the show itself, and that's the style we get here too. And like I said, we're getting a little bit of a mystery, and we're just gonna kind of see where it goes from there. So new kaiju, new titans, and whatnot, and seeing Kong there being helped by humans kind of lays the foundation of like what we would see later on in like the New Empire, where he gets his like tooth helped and gets aided by all sorts of things in that too. So I like that. I like seeing kind of like the sprinklings of the foundation of that here. I mean, we did see in the show that Kong did form a connection with humans. So I'm excited to see kind of like who this kind of tribe of people are, because it's not really like the Iwi. It seems to be something a little bit different. And will this also tie into like Skull Island, the birth of Kong? Remember that comic book where we had the son of like Houston Brooks, I think it was Aaron Brooks was the character, and it was them going to Skull Island. We got into the origins of Kong, and maybe this will tie back into this. I think this is set in the 90s anyways, so it's got to connect in some capacity. But I mean, when it comes to a lot of the comic books, like some of them feel more like soft canon as opposed to full-on canon, but this one's a direct continuation of the animated series, so this is more like full-blown canon than I think perhaps some other comic books potentially are within this universe. But hey, it is what it is. I am glad I got this thing. It was a pretty decent first issue, and I'm looking forward to seeing how they expand upon it within subsequent months. I don't exactly know how many issues this series is going to be, but hey, it's new Monsterverse stuff to kind of hold you over until whenever Monarch Season 2 comes out and whenever Godzilla Kong Supernova releases as well. So is Monarch going to be coming out this year? That's what I want to know, because they have wrapped production on Season 2. So maybe the episodes start releasing this year, or perhaps they release at the beginning of next year to kind of like give us a little bit of that Godzilla fix. Well, or actually not quite Godzilla. It'll be more Kong focused, based on where season 1 ended of that. So I'm curious, like, where is it going to go? But anyways, what did you all think of Return to Skull Island issue number 1? Did you like it? Did you dislike it? Post your comments down below. Be sure to like this video, share it with friends, subscribe to the YouTube channel for more content, hit that bell for notifications, all that other fun stuff. And I got a couple more comic book reviews that I want to get out today. I got one more just for today after this, and then we'll get kind of the rest probably tomorrow and all that. So, but look forward to all that. But anyways, that's all I have to say. As always, take care now. Bye-bye then, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace out.